is it true that there were 7 coffins?
Yeah.
And they were each given a name?
Yeah.
And that the staff favorite seemed to be the Joker. And I'm just wondering if you can kind of expound on why.
Yeah, there were 7. They call them coffins. I call them, torture devices, Iron Maidens, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, each one was called the Joker. The other had Spanish names that I can't recall off the top of my head, but I do know that each one was less funny than the last, and the last being the Joker was the least of all, in terms of funny. It was a really horrible torture device.
So by the end of the shoot, did you just put them all in one corner and then torch them, or was it one of those?
I thought that they'd all make fine kindling, and those were my instructions, but nobody listens to me. I'm just the actor, so I left and never looked back. I never wanted to see those again. That last day of shooting was harrowing, to say the least, so I was happy to just get out of there.
Rodrigo said that you didn't like to rehearse and you kind of wanted to go in and kind of experience it.
Yeah.
So even though there was dialogue written for the screen, was there room for you to ad lib stuff? And if so, how did you kind of throw that in?
Yeah, I mean, you have to have that freedom and that ability in a movie like this because it's so on edge, it's so visceral, and if I was sticking to every last comma in the script, it would have sounded like I was delivering lines of dialogue. And so no, you create the experience in your own way. I mean, you see that you have an objective in a scene, and that's what I focus on, the theme of the scene more so than the words. So you just kind of have to go for it in that way.
There's a rumor that he asked you to take a coffin home to practice. Is that true?
That I would say is pure Rodrigo Cortez hyperbole. That never happened.
Darn it.
False.
That would have been hilarious. Hey, honey, look what I brought home for the day.
Yes, a nice piece of living room art. This coffin. This coffin. No.
17-day shoot.
Yeah.
Physical, because you're kind of in this situation. 17 days of relaxation afterwards, or did you actually go into some other...
I took a little time off once I finished. I had to. I was sort of a different person by the time I finished the movie, but yeah, it was 17 days in a coffin. It doesn't really get any worse in terms of shooting circumstances than that. I kept saying to Rodrigo, we could have had the whole film paid for by a crematorium company, because this thing was just an ad for never being buried.
Sponsored by her?
Yeah, sponsored by, exactly, sponsored by.
No, I guess the main thing is, why? Why would an actor want to take on this? I mean, it's a great role and all that stuff, but it is kind of almost like... it's almost masochistic in a sense. It's like
a little bit. I mean, I sparked to the same things that Rodrigo sparked to about it. It was sort of impossible, and I wanted to see if it was possible. And at the end of the day, you think, I didn't expect the movie to have this kind of attention. So at the end of the day, I was thinking, well, if it didn't work, no one's going to see it, and everyone's going to pat themselves on the back for trying, and we'll all go get them next time. But as it so happens, the movie made a big splash in Sundance, and that was a great gift to everybody. And then since then, in the screenings we've had, it's just been like a snowball. It just keeps rolling. And I think people want to go to a movie and they want to experience something. They don't want to just watch a movie and then leave the theater. They want to feel like they're there, and that's what the movie does. I mean, it puts you right in the shoes of this guy, and people are empathetic. They are naturally empathetic, so you can't help but wonder, what would I do? Like, if I was that guy, how would I do this? Would I make the same calls? Would I scream for help? Would I just try to burrow my way? What would I do? And it's a great time for a film goer to have that experience in a movie. It's rare as well.
Would you call this a physical performance also? Because it is so enclosed, so there must be little things that you had to play with. And if so, what were the things? I mean, I know you burned your fingers and
yeah, I mean, you get all that stuff. Look, any movie you kind of get beat up and dinged up. Especially it's this physical. But I was shocked at how physical it was. It was the most physical film I've ever done in my life, and it took place in a tiny box, and it's kind of hard to believe that, but well, I mean, I left shooting in Barcelona, just physically different than I came. I mean, I had no skin left, wore away like a hole in the back of my head with the sand. I mean, it was just, it was kind of amazing. But those were all sort of spoils of war, I felt. Like, those were kind of like trophies.
So was your next role an ensemble piece with 100 people that you can work with?
My next role was the Green Lantern, actually. So it was kind of weird to go to something, this little movie to this huge movie. But it was more the similarities of the two that I found most striking, was that when you're in the pits and you're there with the director and the writer and the producer and you're trying to solve a problem on the Green Lantern set, it feels the exact same way as when we were on the Buried set. In some ways buried is as big as Green Lantern. I mean, that was the genius of what Rodrigo Cortés did, this director. He created a universe inside this little tiny space. And that universe works not in spite of that small space, but because of it. And that's I think the people throw the word around a lot, but that's the genius of this guy, this director, who's just somebody I'm dying to work with again.